Hey everybody, Rose Matter here, and welcome to my reaction and discussion for episodes 13 and 14 of the Psycho-Pass anime. We had two very different episodes last week. The first one was the conclusion to Kogami getting kidnapped by Makishima, and he suffered a pretty brutal injury from the hunter before the hunter, the cyborg himself, died. So Kagami, I imagine, is probably out of commission for a little while, leaving it up to Akane to chase down Makishima. And unfortunately, I was correct in my guess that Akane's friend was not going to survive the trial. Makishima told Akane straight up he was going to kill her friend unless she could kill him first. And this is where we learned that Makishima, the reason he's been able to slip past the Sybil system is because somehow his crime coefficient, his hue, never seems to go into the level where he's seen as a criminal, despite the fact we know he has done a lot of horrible things. In fact, his hue, his coefficient actually decreased, which is wild. So I'm not quite sure how that's possible, if he is just so much of a sociopath that he is able to affect his, like, it doesn't, his view is not affected by it, because, you know, we see that their hues are affected by stress and things like that, and he just seems to not have that happen to him. And he was testing Akane's belief in the Sibyl system, being like, you know that I'm a criminal, but your system says that I'm not. So are you going to be able to, you know, go outside the system and bring your own justice to save your friend? And unfortunately, she was not able to. And as a result, the friend died. Now, we have not seen the aftermaths of Akane dealing with this. Like, is her hue going to be affected? Or is she going to be similar to Makishima? And is she, you know, exempt from this? I'm not quite sure. And then we went into a backstory into Yayoi. Oh gosh, I probably butchered her name. The enforcer, who we've learned was a musician, as you know, a band. We learned how music also can be affected, like you're playing certain music or being in arts. We've seen arts come up, and how, like, if you get too deep into your art, it can affect your coefficient as well. And she turned into a latent criminal, and she was brought on as an enforcer in order to take down somebody who was going around killing people in, like, the district that she worked in. And then we learned that a friend of hers from another band, she's basically like an anarchist who wants to take down the Sybil system. And that was when Yayoi, she made that decision, like, okay, I'm going to be an enforcer. So, interesting backstory. Like, I really like that we're going into the history of, like, the enforcers. I don't know if we're going to have any other episodes like that, because they are so mysterious. We don't know too much about their backstories. Part of me wants to learn more about them, but part of me is like, I want to see the aftermath of that whole Makishima incident and how Akane is going to deal with it. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with these two episodes, which direction it's going to go to. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it either way, whatever, you know, comes at me. So without further ado, let's go into it and let's watch these episodes, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts afterwards. Okay, so his went up. So I wonder if this is like, is this recent time or is this a backstory? Because we know that his father, uh, his father became, yeah, and he doesn't want to become like his father, who was seen as a criminal, right? Oh my gosh, we have, oh wow, okay. We have a new intro. Wow. I was gonna say, I wasn't crazy about the intro and the outros of the previous one, so I'm like, I'm okay with this. I like it. It's got a very Cowboy Bebop look to it. That's just like the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm digging this intro already. I'm like much better than the last one. I still like the original the song, like the first song that we got from the first couple of episodes more, but now hopefully we don't have that weird outro with like all the naked people. That one I was just like not into, so all right, all right, I like that. Okay, good. All right, so we're going into this is present stuff, right? Okay, I'm into this. Let's see what happened to Akane after. Maybe she's being decompressed right now. Like she's in psychological like counseling right now. Well, look at, actually sticking up for her after being kind of mean to her before. Maybe not mean, but harsh. Oh, okay. All right, so she's maybe he's starting to have some doubts about it as well. And she obviously is like, nope, Sybil System is law. That's it. It's God. You must believe in it fully. Well, it's obviously not perfect because people are able to slip through it. Oh yes, that's a good idea. Is just to have it rely on computers completely? No. They still need humans to, because humans have like, yeah, they need humans for it because like they are able to think differently than a computer. Unfortunately, humans and technology can both make mistakes. If that were the case, if it relied on, the electronic aspect of it perfectly, then Makishima would never be caught because he's not being identified. Okay, what's all this about? Oh, that's wait. Is that the enforcer, the redheaded guy? No, he's not. So there was somebody else. Okay. For a second I was like, it's the redheaded guy, what? So, okay, so there was someone else other than Makishima who was able to slip past it, and she's aware of it. Criminally asymptomatic person. One of every 2 million people. That is very, very rare, but... I wonder if Akane could be one of those people, if her hue's not affected. Has this Tuma person been brought up before, or is this our first time hearing about him? Officially, he's probably... Okay, so he's probably hiding out somewhere. Oh, he disappeared. That could mean so many different things. So did they, like, maybe take him out and kill him? Or not? Okay. They have to keep it under wraps, because then, yeah, people are going to doubt the Sybil system if there's people who can slip by it. So what do you do in a case like that? If they have to obey the Sybil system, then what do they do about these people who can't be judged by it? Okay, so they're just sweeping it under the rug. Okay. Oh, Gino. He's just a good little puppet. So what do they do in that case? Yeah, like if Sybil won't judge him, do they just like they'll just put him away in some like secret prison? Okay, okay. So it's interesting that she knows that these people exist. All right, Akane, yay! Poor Kazuma, he just keeps ending up in the hospital. She seems okay. It'd be interesting either way, like either if her Hugh wasn't affected, then that says a lot about her. Uh but if her Hugh was affected, then it could also we could go into some dark stuff about her descending possibly into becoming like Kazuma. Nicer than what Gino would say. This is what Kazuma said about how he has to train his body because he can't rely on the Dominator all the time. I'm assuming that book, Heart of Darkness, I've heard of it, haven't read it. I'm assuming it has something to... There's some connection to what's going on here. They got that connection. She seems, wow, like a lot better than I would have expected her to be. Okay. Okay, so I don't understand. If he worked at that school, would they not have, and there was cameras everywhere. Okay. Because I think he ended up wiping all the stuff from him from the school, but I'm like, really? They have to dive into her memories? So she has to relive it again, and that's probably going to affect her hue if it hasn't already. This will be interesting to see what happens. And it's nice to see Kagami, like, cares about her so much. He wants to tell her, he's probably afraid that she's going to become like him if she goes too deep into this, you know? Okay, it has been affected. Okay, I was thinking, like, is she gonna be... Is she gonna be like Makishima and not have it affected at all? It's just wild that they can't get a picture of him anywhere. I was gonna say, like, Kagami's had a good look at him. Would they not be able to go into Kagami's memories? I think Ino knows that because, like, his father became a criminal, right? So he doesn't want that to happen to her. So it got or it got affected, but it hasn't affected her as much as it would normal people. It would be interesting if her and Makishima ended up having, like, the same, you know, whatever is going on with Makishima, she had that too, so she would be, like, a good foil against him. I guess when Kagami saw him, it wasn't a very good picture of him, where she got a good look at him, so... Hopefully she only has to do this once. It'd be horrible if she had to see it over and over again. No, but that she's just looking at her friends. Not Makishima, really. Yeah, she's just focused on her. Oh, she can't see him. She just sees... What's her name? Yuki? There we go. There we go. Oof. Oof. Oh, shit. Well... It's okay. Alright, well... She did say she had a strong hue. Wait. It went up, but it's already showing signs of recovery. Okay, so maybe it is like... Maybe she does have the same thing that he has. Not to the point where it's like, you know, it doesn't get affected at all, but... Okay, well, he recovered pretty fast. Oh. Well. I love that he's just to the fact where, like, they could see that happening too, where he just threatened to, like, burn the place down. So they had a picture of him. Okay. So they... That's what I was wondering. I'm like, do they not have any pictures of him at all? Like a staff picture or something when he was at the school? Oh, Spooky Boogie. Oh, that name. I wonder if he feels a little bit of, like, I don't know, harshness about the fact that she's already done more than he was able to do. Hey, there's my guy. Right? That's... Yeah, why? What's going on there? Maybe it's the fact she's not afraid of it, that's the key. Okay, interesting. So that... Because she's not afraid of her crime coefficient going up? Okay. Yeah, let's get into this. Yeah, like, what happens to him? But she has a, like, an unwavering sense of justice, and that protects her. If something happened to, like, give him to his hand, I want to know, like, let's get a story about him. I really want to know his backstory. Oh my... Wow, I feel like an idiot I didn't catch on that that's his dad? Oh my god. Well, interesting. Okay. Well, okay, okay. I would have never assumed that they were related. They look nothing alike. So is it because Akane doesn't waver from her belief in, like, this whole system that she is not affected? Okay. Meanwhile, though, his went up, and he seems to have a strong belief in the Sybil system. But his went up quite a bit, and he wasn't even directly affected like Akane was. But the thing is, like, we have seen Akane, she has had her questions about it, and her doubts about it. Interesting. So then, Makishima, Is his like, but his is kind of the opposite. Like the whole thing about like accepting society and everything as it is, where it's like he seems to be the opposite. He seems to want to overthrow the Sybil system. He seems to not believe in the system at all. And yet his crime coefficient doesn't go up either. It's yeah. I feel like maybe him and Akane are kind of the same in some ways, but their beliefs are different in other ways. Interesting though. Oh, those are creepy as fuck. All of this is very creepy right off the bat. Oh, those nurses, they doing them the mask, whatever those things are at the reception desk. They look like creepy ass pandas. What? They're okay with this dude in a big mask just wandering in? Ooh. Ooh. Oh shit. What the fuck? Well, wow. Jesus. After like the last episode where it was just like basically all talking, woo, we are getting violent immediately. Wow. Well, that's wow. The mood whiplash between the last episode and this one are wow, wild. And the fact that he was so confident, the fact that like no one was gonna save her. So is this? I'm wondering if this person here is he like a new villain, or is he kind of like one of Makishima's goons? Because that's what Makishima seems to like to do is just get a bunch of people and kind of use them to just kind of like try and upheave the system, like just cause chaos. I really do. This intro, man, is so stylish. I've liked almost all of them, but the song's catching on. Or it's every time I hear it, I like it a little bit better. I'm like, okay, I'm excited about this one. I'm like that this is going to be the violence episode. It tends to be in the background, the violence that's like implied or talked about previous cases. So when it actually happens, it's like, whoa. And the fact that too that guy was able to get into what I assumed was like a restricted area and nobody thought to stop and be like, hey, what's with the mask? Who are you? I guess it's like if you believe in the system and if like, oh well, it says that he's able to get in here, so we're not going to question it. It's that moment when you start having your doubts, right? That's when it's your crime coefficient can go up. Damn, the dude with the scissors, that was oof. It was like a more extreme version of the Batman movie with the Joker. You want to see a magic trick? And nobody stopped him. Nobody saw on the security camera. Is it a way to, like, to block it? Exactly, right? And this is where you really start to see the breakdown of the Sybil system. Like, you can see the blind spots. Another, oh. Maybe it's that guy that was brought up in the last episode. Toma, or whatever his name was? How many of there? They said 1 in, what, 2 million people have that ability? Okay. He didn't, though. He had his face clear the whole time. Because everyone just would wear masks all the time, right? If that were the case. That's another thing too, is like how premeditated does someone's crimes have to be for the psychopath or psycho thing to psychopath to identify it? Oh, she's having her doubts. She doesn't have full belief in the system. This is not good. I mean, it is good because the only way that you can change it is by. Oh, okay. I've seen this part. I'm kind of bummed out that I have. I a couple of years ago, I did like a shocking moments, like disturbing anime moment reaction compilation. So I know exactly what's gonna happen here, but it's still really fucked up. This here's like the extreme version of the bystander effect. He pulls out, yeah, a hammer and just whoosh. Oh, this poor woman. And nobody does a damn thing about it. Ugh. It's so disturbing. The thing is, I wonder if this is like some sort of, uh, you know, like the bystander effect, just to see everyone just stand around and do nothing, if this is like an extreme version of that, you know? It's also because everybody else, it probably, like, it's so fucked up. Like, this woman is dying, and this is the last thing she has to see. It's just like, oh, let us provide you some help. And people are just taking pictures. Except that's a dude that was helping Makishima, right? So is in this world, do people are they not even aware of like what a crime looks like, that they see this and they just don't react? So that's the thing, is that the guy who's attacking that woman, they see his psychopath as good. But I still just find it hard to believe that those people could see that happening and not register what's happening, you know? You know what? If this system causes people to be that much, you know, like unobservant and not understand like when a crime is going on, maybe maybe Makishima's right. Maybe this does need to be overthrown, this whole system. So they're aware of like what's happening is a bad thing, but nobody around seems to care. This is, yeah, I figured he was probably one of Makishima's like goons. Now this will be interesting. Like this is like this is where it's good. It seems like it's gonna be ramped up. So those guys were all working together. Okay. So that's why nobody else was like taking any pictures or anything. These guys were all part of Makishima's crew. Interesting. Okay, so the area stress level was elevated. So people like, so the stress level was elevated, but nobody's react. I'm so confused by this. Okay. Like I said, I kind of understand where Makishima's coming from in a way, you know? It's like if it basically turns people into mindless zombies almost. But I don't agree with the way he's going about it. Okay, I'm guessing the person he's talking to is it that other guy that is, you know, is not have his views affected. Or maybe he's talking to someone like higher up, maybe somebody in their system in the police. I don't know. Maybe he's like working on the from the inside and that's how he's been able to slip by everything. They, they couldn't understand what was going on. It's just like crime to them is so like unheard of that they don't understand it. Okay. So it's just like they were just stupefied. It's just like seeing an alien in front of them. Like we can't even register what's happening. Okay, so I yeah, that's wild. Like all those robots and everything, they didn't even So what were the drugs for, I wonder? Because he stole some drugs. Was it just a test to see if he could? Did they did he need the drugs to be able to do this? Except his Hugh was still fine, even when he went in and killed those people. Oh shit, okay, the revolution has begun. Damn. Wow. And once again, nobody's noticing really because they just can't even comprehend what's going on in front of them. Like they don't understand crime. Man, this is very action-packed episode. I mean, he had a good question there. It's like, what are we supposed to do if we can't use the Dominator, which most likely will happen? Of course, Kagami knows exactly what's going on. All right. Tell me what's going on, Kagami. Lay it on me. Yeah, I was gonna say Kagami gave me flattery. I would do what he wants to. I like the music going too. Okay. I feel dumb. I don't understand what Kagami's getting at with all of this. There's a whole thing about like people have to be within the same like certain distance from each other. Their hues are the same as the witnesses. Um oh shit. Oh, was he the one that was wearing the mask then? Oh boy. That's creepy as fuck. Oh, that's wow. That's Jesus. Okay. Oh, all right, so he is wearing a mask. Yeah, that's him. Okay, Kagami, what is it? Okay, you want to tell us? Oh man, this episode is so intense. I love it. Okay, okay. Oh, oh, I feel so dumb. I feel so dumb. So that's how they were able to keep their psychopaths down. Okay, so you just have to isolate them into a place where he can't use the. Okay, damn Kagami, like he is a true detective. Smart. So they're luring him in. It's like a rat in a cage, exactly where they want him to go. But Makishima seems like he knew that eventually Kagami was probably going to figure it out. Because he just figures everything out eventually. This is all just a test. Right? Because they're enforcers. There are. Okay. Smart, right? Because they're enforcers. Their crime coefficient is already high. So it's just gonna. His mask is just gonna copy theirs, which allows them to be able to take him out. And poor Akane, once again, she's like, and I'm not allowed to do anything. I just have to hang in the back. I mean, in this case, there was a reason why, but. Oh shit, are they gonna try and take him out? Okay. I bet he's just such a badass, he'll be able to take these guys out unarmed. Because he can do everything. I mean, he's right there. Oh, jeez, of course! Of course, he's just like a badass fighter. Of course he is. He's just so cool. Such a cool dude. Ooh. Ooh! 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 Uh-oh, he's gonna break all his teeth! Ooh! Fuck. Oh. Damn. Alright, that was a good episode. Alright, we're learning more about his grand plan. He's working with someone, obviously, to, because, like, as cool as Makishima is and as smart as he is, he's not going to be able to do all this on him by himself. He's still relatively young. He's got to have someone high up in society, I'm guessing, who is able to help him out. Someone who has the same beliefs that he does. Okay, I'm glad that we don't seem to have the weird naked people ending anymore. But yeah, those were some good episodes. Like just like last week's, two very, very different like one that's very conversation based, not a lot happening, but we learned a lot, and then the other one is just like a lot of action. So both very, very entertaining in their own way. All right, so like I said, two very interesting episodes, got a lot of information. So we got to see the aftermath of Akane dealing with that traumatic experience, which I'm glad we got to see, and learning that yes, she was affected by it, but not as much as a normal person would be. But we learned that the reason why, at least according to Masoka, is that she seems to have, like hope in society and in justice, and she just kind of like goes with the flow and doesn't really let things affect her as much. She doesn't seem to be concerned with like her hue, her coefficient as much, maybe, and that itself, the fact that she just has this faith, it seems to keep her strong. And I guess with Makishima, he has kind of maybe the opposite, where it's like he doesn't have faith in the system and in society, but I guess he has maybe faith in like his beliefs. He has strong faith in his beliefs, and that in itself protects him. Although he did say that like from a young age it was not affected. So I mean, I have doubts that from like when he was a kid he was like, I'm gonna overthrow the system, and I have my very strong beliefs. So there is the revelation that what I believe 1 in 2 million people are asymptomatic basically and are not affected by the hues. Their crime coefficient seems to be stable. So that is like a weak spot. Yeah, it's not a lot of people, but like you basically have these people, once they learn this, they can kind of just slip under the radar and do whatever they want. And in fact, we did learn about a person who had done this, who had done some stuff years ago, and it's kind of vague about what happened to him. Whoever, I'm guessing the big boss that Gino was talking to said that he just disappeared. Whether they made him disappear or they truly don't know what happened to him, little concerning. But like they know that this is a thing. This is not just a one-off thing. Makishima, he is unusual, but he's not like the only person like this. And also, holy crap, learning that Masoka is Gino's father. So the one that he's been talking about, where it's like his father, something happened to raise his Hugh, and then he was a detective. Something happened where he became an enforcer because his crime coefficient went up. I just like that just blew my mind. I never would have expected that. It just felt like it was kind of right there in plain sight. I didn't catch that, so that was a really cool thing. So we're learning a little bit more about Masuko. Now here's my problem. He is a father. He's a father to a character that we know, and he's a father figure to Akane. He's close with her. So I have a bad feeling about him. I feel like he could be someone that he's like important enough, someone that we connect with, a character that we really like, but he's not like a main character that is probably not going to die. So I have a feeling that he's going to be the next on the chopping block. He's going to be someone whose death is going to affect a lot of people and who is maybe going to like drive people forward. It's going to affect Dino. Maybe his crime coefficient is going to go up. Maybe he might become an enforcer. Akane, it might affect her to keep losing people close to her. That's just my guess anyway, is I feel like of all the people, of all the enforcers, certainly he's the one I feel like is the most kind of like prime for being set up. Like these death flags I feel like are being set up for him to go with, you know, with that information. And then moving on, Makishima devising this plan with these helmets and having it reflect the coefficient of someone close by who has like a normal one, and using that to his advantage to be able to like sneak under the radar, get his goons to commit all these crimes, to, like he said at the end, to wake people up, because people they said, you know, that people are so not used to seeing crimes happen in front of them. They have such belief in the system that like nothing bad will happen because there's a system in place to protect them, prevent things like this from happening, that they literally just can't process it when it happens in front of them. So this is like his anarchist way of like, I'm gonna overthrow the system, I'm gonna wake people up, we're gonna, you know, be like humans again, you know. We cannot live in this false sense of security in the society. So, you know what? It's like I said, I understand where he's coming from. I kind of agree with him to have like this system that we learn is very far from perfect. You know, it's just like, let's go back to the way things were, warts and all. But the way he's going about it is, I assume it's kind of the only way you can overthrow a system like this, is you have to be extreme about it, but it doesn't mean I agree with it. So those are the good villains, where you kind of have a thought, be like, I kind of see where they're coming from. They're not just being evil for the sake of being evil. They have a reason for doing it, and you kind of understand why. So, of course, Kagami saw right through it. He figured it out, because he always does. But I assume that that's just like one part of his plan. And it's like they said, things are just going to escalate from here. And I'm so excited to see, like, okay, now that the cracks are starting to show, the citizens are starting to see something's up. There's a lot more crimes happening. What's going to happen from here? And also, who is this person that Makishima was talking to? I like I said, it's got to be someone, I imagine, who's high up in society that can provide him with all of these tools and money, because I assume like this is not a cheap endeavor, and all of these resources. And if so, like if there's someone high up, there's someone who believes in what he's doing, like who is it? So I'm glad we're getting even more into this world, into like now we're starting to see his grand plan is really starting to kind of come into fruition here, and I'm hooked. I love it. I'm like, I gotta see what happens next. But I'm really hoping that I'm wrong about Masoka. I really hope he's gonna survive to the end of this, but I have a bad feeling about him. And hopefully Akane, she can keep her Hugh good. Hopefully nothing too traumatizing will happen to her. Hopefully nothing happens to Gino. And Kagami's just like, I like all of them. I want them all to just be safe. But of course, knowing who made this show, that's not going to happen. I imagine we're going to have a couple more deaths before the end of it. So I hope you guys did enjoy my reaction and discussion for episodes 13 and 14. And stay tuned next week for episodes 15 and 16. Until then, bye guys.
Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Nana, Kaori Mikoto, Revealing Storm, Tequila Mockingbird, Jared Fan, Izzy Ibo, Asborn Kennedy, Harry Gazif, Icognito, Locus Carolus, Matt Goldsmith, and Wu Sing Chrysalis.